Poptropicaslutz, an alternative pop duo consisting of Christian, Nick, and joined by producer, artist, and friend Aldrich. Whilst most notably known for their former grungy pop-punk sound and songs such as This Might Be Our Last December, the band recently released a new album, New 9 to 5, a genre-defying and fluid showcase of their growth and diversity as musicians. We had the pleasure to attend both sold-out nights in London as well as have a short chat with the band about their new album and the story behind it.
We're Poptropicaslutz.
I'm Nick.
I'm Christian.
So you guys had your show yesterday, your first sold-out night in London. How was that?
It was gas. It was my favorite show experience so far, I think. It was like I knew it was gonna be good because it sold out so quick and like we haven't been here yet, but like seeing like the fans know like all the words to the new album was really cool. And then at the after party, like I got the chance to speak to like almost not everyone that was at the show, but like most of the people that came to the after party. I feel like I got to like exchange some words with, and hearing like people in a different country like give us like their feedback, it's just like cool to see a new perspective than like the people that we've met in the US over like the past few years of touring.
And yeah, it was good. The show is super sick and it's super unique because I don't know, just like being in like a place that's like so far from home, because like even when we're playing shows in America that are like in the middle of nowhere, it feels like it's crazy, like people from like the Midwest coming out to see us, but people that are coming from like Spain and they're coming from like Norway and like from all these other random places, like that's the craziest thing. It's like, wow, we actually like have people that listen to us all over the world, which is super crazy. And yeah, it just felt good. The show just went really smooth, like compared to all the other shows. Like we played way much bigger venues on the other shows, and this one just felt like super smooth and good, and just like I don't know, like it's really like cathartic, like in a good way. Like I don't know, it was great.
Obviously, you guys just released your new album, The New 9 to 5. To me, listening through that and then listening to the rest of your like discography, it does feel a bit more cohesive and like more of a project. Is there anything that actually influenced that?
Yeah, definitely just the fact that before we moved out to Los Angeles, we were like doing like the album process in like a really weird way that I like would never want to do again, because I don't think we were being super conscious about the way we were making albums. We were flying out to LA like maybe 3 times a year, making a few songs, and then we're under contract, so like we have to put out an album that has however many songs. And since we're doing these sessions throughout the year and we don't have like the luxury of being in LA forever, like we're just taking the songs we did and like that's the album, and they're made over like a year and a half, 2 years, and it's like by the time you put it out, you're like, I just have a bunch of songs that are completely different, don't necessarily fit together, like not in love with all of them. And this time we're like, let's sit down and let's make a project, let's make an album, like let's do it in a way that we feel like we can listen front to back and be like, this is an album, and like tell a story, have like a really solid theme. and not just like throw a bunch of songs together that we made over however long. So it was like super concentrated the way we did it. And also in the past, we were doing music where like we'd go in, we'd write in the session, everything was birthed in that session, like from scratch. And now we like over the past like year and a half, we've done it where like Nick and I will make demos in our bedrooms, and we'll like come up with ideas, and we'll make a whole demo that we have like the idea of, and then we'll flesh it out with Aldrich and our other producer co-butted and make it like what we really want it to be. And I feel like that's the way we make something cool, because in the past, like you don't know if you're going to come out of a session with anything useful, but if you go in with an idea you like and have your like closest producer friends like beef it up, you're going to leave happy, and it takes away like a lot of like time being wasted on something you don't like.
Yeah, I mean, when you actually make all of the songs that are going to be on the project within the same time period, and you're only making them with people that you like know and trust and you feel comfortable saying no to, because no shade to anyone that we worked with in the past that we only did a couple sessions with, but at least for us, we were like people pleasing a lot in the sessions, so we would just like make whatever song, like even if like we weren't all the way feeling it completely in the session, we would just like work through and just like write it to like completion. And for this, we made a bunch of songs that just didn't make the cut, and if we like didn't like something, we would say it, and if we had demos that we'd bring and like we would like finish them out there, and we could actually like feel like we could be honest in ourselves in the session. And also when you make music with people that you're friends, like not just like collaborators or something, it feels great, and there's more like camaraderie to it as opposed to like a working relationship. So I think that was probably the most important part of making it cohesive, just the fact that we made it with people that we can consider friends, not just like colleagues, you know.
You've obviously just touched on it, but what was the songwriting process like, and what inspired the concept of the album?
Well, the first song, MDMA Keeps the Doctor Away, came about like on our tour last year in like a really, really shitty hotel room. And we were kind of like, all right, like what's one thing we could do right now? Like we could do this anywhere, let's make a song. Like nothing can stop us from making a song. And also like where we made that song makes me think of it in like an even fonder way than if we made it in like the nicest studio, because it's like something that I view as like a grail of our discography was made in like a really shitty condition, I guess. Like they put us in like a smoking room that smelled like cigarettes, and it was just like a gross room, and we were like, all right, let's just like focus on something else. And that kind of like was like the setting the vibe for what everything else came to be. And yeah, we kind of just were like, let's take it in a different direction. And it wasn't that really conscious. We just made the first song and they were like, this is it. Like, this is the vibe. And then we followed the story of the MDMA song, which is basically like about an escort running away from her like employer, who's like a pimp, and trying to like fucking figure her life out on her own. And then this pimp is like fucking like obsessed with this girl, and he wants to like, all right, like I don't need to be like your pimp. Like we could have a relationship, and like I'm in love with you. And it's kind of like a fucked up idea, but we thought it was cool, and we made that like the loose theme of the album.
Yeah, and a lot of the other songs like were made a long time before we actually, or like not a long time, but a good amount of time before we actually recorded them. Like I had recorded, I think like Cloud Love, House by the Beach, Kate Moss, and what else? And then the hook for RFSB was like written 5 years ago, and like and I just like sent Christian all the demos that I had, the ideas I had, and he just like picked out which ones like were sick, because there's probably like 20 of them, but then he just picked out which ones he thought were the coolest ones, and we like fleshed those out and worked on them. And also like our production, like us like producing things and like actually producing ideas, is like that's the first time we really did that, was on this project, and like engineering stuff ourselves, and then like sending them over to Sam and Coblood and having them like make them like actually good and like actually sound like what they're supposed to sound like. I think that was like a big difference, especially because I don't know, like we always because like sometimes I'll try to explain things in a session of what I want it to sound like, and it's not exactly like, it's kind of hard to like communicate it, but if I'm doing it myself, it's like I can just make it sound like what I feel is right. And I think that like definitely translated a lot, especially with like House by the Beach. I remember I had like this really like the integrity of the song is there for House by the Beach from like what I originally did, like on like the original demo, that I gave it to Sam and he just brought it to life. Like he was making the drums, like the weird tribal drums, like on the way in the car on the way to the studio, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be amazing. And then like Joey just like cold-blooded brought it to life completely, and yeah, that was definitely like the best part of the songwriting process for me, is just making with people that we love, and then also like doing things more hands-on than we did last time.
Just for the sake of this feeling I remember from when we first met. Think it was last September, now it's almost December. Wish we could be together, never been in so much pain. Heart feels lost, can't find it all. Tell me what you want, I can buy it all. Can't you see I'm trying, never on the same page. We can always be right and go, we seek it out, don't mind it, go. Reach out, God, and find it all. Without you, I can't live without you. Don't give me a reason to doubt you. And I bet it got me the days like without you. That other guy that you keep around you, I think it's coming through to a little near you. But I trip over my words every time I'm near you. I'm afraid everything I'm saying doesn't feel true. I can't get it out. Just writing it all down.
After like putting out the album, do you guys feel like you found any obstacles once you released it in like feedback from people?
Some people think it sucks. They're wrong. Our music is really good. No, I mean, the album is like, it's different than our previous music, but at the same time, it's the same. I think people really miss something that they like grew fond of, because our past music was very like heartbroken, and it was very like, it wasn't self-loathing, but at points it was very like woe is me. At least that's how I felt writing it sometimes. And I think this new music is more so like we talk about things that we want, or like trying to like hype ourselves up, as opposed to like just like sulk, you know. And I think some people like, I don't know, it's something about sadness, like people hold on to that more, because like happiness doesn't leave a scar, obviously. So I don't know, people like want you to be that forever, and they don't feel comfortable when their favorite artist changes, and they feel like they're being betrayed. But at the same time, like, I don't know, if you can accept that your favorite artist is changing and you can like grow with them, I think that's important. So like that was like one thing that was like I definitely thought about, but I totally expected it, so it like helped like soothe the I don't know, like the initial reaction of it. But I think that was the only obstacle. Other than that, I feel like it's gotten a good reception. It's had strong receptions. Like people either love it or they were like super like annoyed by it, which is like I think is awesome.
Yeah, we had last night at the after party, someone said to me, "This album feels like the totality of everything we've released in the past." And I wrote that in my notes, because I was like, she was a fan since like 2021 and was like really early, and was like, I was like, okay, if anyone knows that, you would know that like you heard it then and you hear it now, and you know that like this is like true to us, and it's not trying to be something. And then also I found this review online today. The title of the review is Absolute Rubbish. Boring and lifeless, same old boring suburban rich kids pretending they came from nothing. Boring lyrics, boring instrumentals, yada yada yada, more garbage. And I love that review.
Yeah, and that guy did not listen to the album. There's nothing about that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I think he just goes around like and probably just like writes shitty reviews for every album. And there's nothing about coming from nothing on that album.
Yeah. Also, that dude's definitely British. Now that I realize he said rubbish. Yeah, it's like that's just crazy. But
he's probably at the show last night. He's like,
yeah, right.
Just forget the world. You don't need no one else to run to. It's a shame that I told you that I loved you. It's okay if you don't feel the same. Let's go on it one more time. Let's go. You don't feel the pain. Got me started on the grass. You know it's that, and the girl I want is coming back. She always asks when I'm coming home. It's gonna be a minute 'cause I'm on the road. Yeah, you don't gotta worry. I won't let you down. Not an ounce of the pain, not an ounce of the pain. Just stop on my pain. A couple of days and you call me on the phone. Figure I was wrong. See, I know you said happy pictures on me. Getting money so you want me, and I love about you. I'll do. And I think I find out about you. I'll do. I'll do. I'll do. I'll do.
really big fan who wanted to ask a question about the album.
Cool.
It was good.
Oh.
Oh, this is nerve-wracking.
Hey guys, I'm a little nervous. I'm a huge fan. I am actually really trying hard to get that Kate Moss. You know, I'm trying to get this weight off. So like, somebody with my build, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's your like workout recommendation? Man?
Yeah, okay, shout out Ezra. That's crazy.
I was like, yo, this guy looks like Ezra. Okay, well, there was someone at the show yesterday that we took a photo with that I was like showing you guys before. I was like, this kind of looked like Ezra. So I just assumed that it was that guy for like the first second. But for someone of your build, I would just say like, keep going at it, bro. Like, you got this. Like, I think you're on the right path. Like, your biceps are a little small. Your chest definitely like could use some work. No abs at all, but like, I think yeah, you gotta just keep at it, bro. I'm just kidding.
All right, so go to the gym 6 times a week for like 30 minutes a day, and then in like 3 months you'll be ripped. That's all the advice I can give you. And then listen to our music and like eat twice a day.
Or 3 times a day, or 4 or 5, however many times.
Yeah. Amazing.
I think twice a day is a sweet spot for me. 1 big meal in the middle of the day and 1 big meal at night.
Yeah, I feel like eating 3 times a day feels good.
Yeah, but do whatever you want. Ezra, dude, you don't need advice from me.
I don't know if he can be saved. He's looking too scrawny.
Yeah, London.